my channel Nidhi Karwal, your science mentor. Today I am here with you with the video of class 10. We will discuss the transportation system in humans. See, what is transportation? First of all, we should know what is transportation. Transportation means movement from one place to another. For this movement from one place to another, we need certain resources or we need certain things to be transported. So, to understand this concept, we will study the transportation, and transportation is mainly the movement of goods from one place to another. It can be any substance. For example, if we talk about the human body, what is transported in human body? As you know that the main transporting agent is blood. In our body, the blood circulates in the whole, as a whole. The blood circulates mainly hormones, that is the chemical substance, the waste material and the food which get digested. You have also read earlier, the food which get digested is absorbed by the blood capillaries and transported to the cells. Here in the cells they get oxidized. Again, the oxidation take place. Oxidation take place when oxygen came inside the cell. So again the question arises, how oxygen came inside the cell? So we have learned in the respiration that when oxygen is taken into the lungs, it will store in the alveoli. And in the alveoli, or you can say from the alveoli, the blood capillaries diffuses the oxygen inside the blood. And in the blood, again, it gets transported to the cell. So, blood is the very important part which do circulation or which do transportation. So, you can understand by this term that transportation is just a simple term that the movement of substance from one place to another. Here in this concept, we will study what is transported, how it is transported, and what is the function of this. In humans, we will call this system, transportation system, is circulatory system. Here, I have written on the board circulatory system. This circulatory system consists of blood, vessels, and heart. First of all, you should know that what is transported. I have told you just now that chemical substance, that is hormones. These are the chemical substance. The waste material. Oxygen, which we inhale, or the food which is digested. So these all four substances are transported with the help of blood. So what all is included in the circulatory system and how they transport, we have to study in detail. So we will start with the circulatory system that consists of blood, vessels and heart. I have told you that blood is a connective tissue. What is blood? In the earlier classes you have learned that blood is a connective tissue. It is a fluid which transport the following substances, which are hormones, waste material, oxygen and food which we digested. What consists of blood? What are the components of blood? Blood consists of 45% of plasma and 55% of cells. Plasma mainly consists of 90% of water and 10% of components like proteins, amino acids and other substances. So this is the composition of blood. That is 40% of plasma. Plasma mainly consists of water and these 10% of proteins and amino acids constitutes this, and 55% of cells. What type of cells are present in blood? Mainly we know that RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC, that we call the erythrocytes or red blood cells, WBC, white blood cells, and platelets. What are the function of these cells? Earlier we have learned in the respiration that oxygen combine with hemoglobin and forms the oxyhemoglobin and get transported. What is hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is the pigment which is present in the red blood cell. Red blood cells contains a pigment that is hemoglobin, because of which this is red in color. This hemoglobin combined with the oxygen that is stored in the alveoli and form the oxyhemoglobin. It gets transported into the cell for further oxidation. While if we talk about the WBC, it's the white blood cells which mainly used or which mainly perform or increase the immunity power of the human body. So, white blood cells are mainly used for increasing the immunity power, while the platelets are responsible for releasing thromboplastin, which basically coagulate the blood. आप लोगों की चोट लग जाती है, चोट लगते ही ब्लड निकलने लगता है, कुछ देर बाद देखते हो ब्लड सूख जाता है और वहां पर बहुत ड्राइनेस आ जाती है और एक जिसको नॉर्मली हम बोलते हैं खुरंट जमने लगता है, वो खुरंट हम उसकी बात कर रहे हैं. तो दिस कोगुलेशन, हाउ कैन इट टेक प्लेस? इट टेक प्लेस विद द हेल्प ऑफ दीज प्लेटलेट. Platelet secrete a substance that we call the thromboplastin, and with the help of that thromboplastin, the blood get coagulated and it become thicker and form the layer on the wound. So this is all about the blood. Now we will discuss about the vessels. What are vessels? When the blood transported, it needs some way, it needs some tracks where it moves. So vessels are the areas, or you can say vessels are the ways on which blood gets transported or blood gets moved. Vessels are of mainly three types. One is the arteries, veins, and capillaries. Sometimes you see green lines on your hands. You feel, what are these green lines? They show blood flowing inside them. So the blood flows inside the arteries, veins, and capillaries. So veins basically are the very thin organelles which are used to flow the blood, while arteries are very thick. So the blood moves in very high pressure in arteries and at very low pressure in veins, while capillaries are the very smallest part in which blood moves or blood flows. It is very important to learn the difference between the arteries and veins. If we talk about the veins, veins collects the blood throughout the body and make it run towards the heart, while arteries collects the blood from the heart and move towards the body. Veins are very thin, while arteries are very thick. The pressure of blood inside the vein is low, while the pressure of blood inside the arteries are very high. Arteries are present deep inside the body. You can't see them superficially, while the veins act superficially, you can see easily. While the part or the division of arteries or veins into smaller part is known as capillaries. They are also used for the transportation of blood. So, I think so it's very easily understandable from this chart that what are blood and what are vessels. Now the next important part is heart. Heart is a pumping organ. It's a pumping organ. Its function is used to pump blood throughout the body. See, blood contains oxygen, so we call that blood oxygenated blood. And if the blood does not have oxygen, that blood is known as deoxygenated blood. And this is also a very important difference between the arteries and veins. If we talk about the deoxygenated blood, it is carried by veins, while the oxygenated blood is carried by arteries. But few exceptions are also there. So we will learn these exceptions and these in detail. Further, we will move to the heart, and for this heart system, how it works, what are its structure, I will show you some slides that will help you easily to learn about the heart. Now we will see the slide of the heart. First of all, see the diagram of it. This is the structure of heart. Heart consists of 4 chambers, mainly 2 auricle and 2 ventricle. Here, first of all, we should know that what type of organ is heart. Heart is a muscular organ whose size is similar or same as the size of our fist. The 4-chamber heart in mammals or in humans consists of auricle and ventricle, where the deoxygenated blood from the whole body is bring into the right auricle. It get oxygenated and then it pumps into the full heart. Pump into the whole body. Here you can see the details. Heart is a conical muscular double pump structure that brings about circulation of blood in the body. It covered by narrow fluid filled membrane sac called pericardium. This complete heart is covered by the outer membrane. That membrane is known as pericardium. This membrane helps it prevents from the shock. The 4 chambers known as auricle or atria, the lower or inferior chambers that are ventricle. Auricle are thin walled because they have to just collect the blood, while ventricle are thick walled because they have to push or pump out the blood into different parts. The partition between the auricle and ventricle. See, this is the right atrium. So the foremost thing is that the blood comes inside the right atrium. The blue color represents the deoxygenated blood. So from the upper body part and from the lower body part, the blood is collected with the help of superior and inferior vena cavas, and these vena cavas fill the deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. At the time of opening, the right atrium is at rest. Again, when it gets filled, the contraction take place, and when the contraction take place, the valves present between the atrium and the ventricle opens. These valves are known as tricuspid valve. What are the function of these valves? These valves help in the backflow of the blood. Basically, it prevents the backflow of blood. The blood has to move from atrium to ventricle and it doesn't went back. For this, these valves are present. So, in between the right atrium and the right ventricle, there is tricuspid valve. From this right ventricle, the contraction takes place and the blood moves into the lungs. Now see how the blood circulated. I have given a rough sketch of it. I have taken 4 chambers over here which represent the heart. These 4 chambers consist of right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle and left ventricle. Here the deoxygenated blood is represented by the blue lines and the oxygenated blood is represented by the red lines. See, these are the body structure. The deoxygenated blood from upper and the lower body part is collected by the vena cava, and vena cava collect all the blood from both the sides and fill into the right auricle. Right auricle again start contraction. During the contraction, the valves between the right auricle and the ventricle opens and the blood flows from the right auricle to the ventricle. When the right ventricle filled, the valve gets shut down. After shutting down, the right ventricle start contracting and the valve open from the right ventricle and blood moves into the artery. I have earlier told you that arteries take away the blood from the heart, but it is an exception over here that pulmonary artery is the artery which carries the deoxygenated blood. Here that blood is carried into the lungs where it gets oxygenated. The blood gets oxygenated over here and moves with the help of pulmonary vein. Again, this is the second exception. I have told you about the exception that veins collect the deoxygenated blood, but only the pulmonary vein is there which collects the oxygenated blood. It carries the blood into the left auricle and into the left ventricle. In between the left auricle and left ventricle, two valves are present that we know as bicuspid valve. These bicuspid valves again prevent the backflow of blood. In the left ventricle, contraction takes place and the biggest artery known as aorta that takes away the blood from the left ventricle to the whole body except the lungs. So in this way the blood comes twice in the heart and gets circulated. That's why this is known as double circulation. One circulation consists or start from the body to the right auricle to the right ventricle, then to the lungs, and after oxygenation to the left auricle. This is known as pulmonary circulation. The phase where the blood flow from the body to lungs where it get oxygenated, and after oxygenation when moves to left auricle, it is known as pulmonary circulation. Then the left auricle contracts, blood moves to the left ventricle and from the aorta to the whole body. This circulation is known as systemic circulation, and both this circulation, pulmonary plus systemic circulation, combines to form double circulation. So now it is very easier to learn that double circulation is equal to pulmonary circulation plus systemic circulation, and I have told you where the movement of both the circulation is. Hope it is very clear to you now, and now you will able to learn how the blood flows, what are the vessels which take the blood to the heart, away the heart, what do you mean by the double circulation. Now what causes the heartbeat? Rhythmic expansion and contraction of the heart is called the heartbeat. I have told you that when the vena cava is collecting the deoxygenated blood, at this point the atrium of heart are at rest. This rest stage is known as diastole. Rhythmic expansion and contraction of heart is called heartbeat. The expansion is called diastole, that means it is in resting stage, while when the blood get inside the auricle, it start get contracting, and this contraction is known as systole. Now the blood pressure. It is the pressure developed by the flow of blood on the walls of arteries. Basically, when the blood moves in the veins and arteries, they are flow in pressure, but the pressure is more in arteries. So more pressure is in arteries, so they develop a pressure or give pressure on the walls of the arteries. This is known as blood pressure. This is measured by the instrument sphygmomanometer. This sphygmomanometer is used by doctors to find out the blood pressure of a human being, which is in normal state it is 120 by 80 mmHg. I have told you about the systolic pressure and the diastolic. When the heart is at rest, that pressure is known as diastolic, and during the contraction it is systolic. Double circulation, again you can see the definition over here. It is the passage of the same blood twice the heart, once on the right side and then on the left side, in order to complete one cycle. This one cycle is known as cardiac cycle. Double circulation consists of two components, pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Pulmonary circulation, the movement of blood from heart to the lung and back. Deoxygenated blood of the body enters the right auricle, passes into the right ventricle, which pumps into the pulmonary artery. The blood passes into the lungs where it gets oxygenated. Oxygenated blood comes back into the left auricle through pulmonary veins. Systemic circulation, it is a circulation of blood pressure between heart and different part of the body except lungs. So this both pulmonary and systemic forms the double circulation, which means one cardiac cycle. This is all about the heart and the movement or circulatory system. A big part of circulatory system is the lymphatic system. It's a small system, mostly ignored by everyone, but here we will go through it. What is lymph? Lymph basically a fluid. It is a yellow or viscous, we can say colorless fluid. This fluid is formed from the tissue fluid and collected by the lymph capillaries. Lymphatic system consists of capillaries, vessels and lymph node, which is specialized to collect lymph from the tissue fluid and carries the same to the blood in the region of veins. Basically, if we talk about the lymph is specialized to collect tissues only. When tissues secrete some fluid, it doesn't go directly into the blood. So it is collected by the lymphatic system, that is lymph. Lymph does not contain RBCs and that's why they are colorless. We have studied the transportation in humans, but the transportations also take place in plants. So we have to study what is transported in plants. See, plants prepare their food inside the leaf. So the food should be transported in the whole plant. In the same way, the water level is at the root part, so it should be supplied to the shoot part. How does it take place? It takes place with the help of two pathways or the two tissues which are known as xylem and phloem. Xylem is mainly responsible for the transportation of water and minerals, while phloem is help in the transportation of food. The movement of food from one place to another with the help of phloem is known as translocation. Also in board, this 1 mark question or definition comes many times. Define translocation. In xylem, different cells are there which perform these activities. The xylem consists of xylem fiber, xylem parenchyma, tracheids and vessels. Out of this, xylem parenchyma is a living cell and rest 3 are the dead cells. So if we talk about the transportation, tracheids and vessels are mainly used for transportation. While if we talk about the phloem, in phloem, food transportation take place and the cells are phloem fiber, phloem parenchyma, sieve tube and companion cell, where the sieve tube and the companion cells and the phloem parenchyma are living and phloem fiber is dead. Here the main cell which transport is sieve tube, while companion cell help in the transportation of food done by the sieve tubes. These are the main transportations take place in plant. While the transportation so this is all about the transportation and the circulatory system. Hope students this video clear the complete process of circulatory system to you in plant as well as in human being. Now what you have to do, go through this video many times. You will able to learn it, the concept, and you have to solve some exercise. Go through the exercise. If you feel any problem, do write me in comment section. I will surely reply you. Students, a very hard time is going on, so it's very important to share this video. Keep subscribing and share this video with your friends so that they get benefited. Thank you. See you soon in our next video. Bye bye. Take care.